career exploration in mathematics. My name is Katie Owashi. I'm the STEM Center Coordinator.
I'm Dr. Esteban Navas. I am a math faculty at Moreno Valley College.
So where do we start? There's a lot of different options you have when you're exploring your career. Maybe you already have an idea of a career that you're really interested in and you're just trying to figure out how to find jobs. Maybe you're kind of just interested in a particular field of math that you want to explore a little more and kind of figure out, how do I find jobs in this area? What kind of options are available to me? So when we're talking about career exploration, there we go. One great resource that you can utilize is called ONet Online. So this is a great database available. It's often used by HR and people who are interested in searching for jobs. It provides lots of different information. You can search by a particular field, so you can actually search by the field of mathematics if you're trying to find what jobs are available in that area, or you can search particular positions that you might be interested in. It's going to provide you with a job description, so information about what you might be expected to do in this position. It'll give you wage and benefit information, and this is going to be information that's from across the United States. It'll provide you average information, and you can also drill down into state-specific information if you know specifically where you would like to work. It also gives some information about the education and training required in order to do that job. So if you're trying to figure out, is a bachelor's going to be sufficient? Am I going to need to do some postgraduate work? That's something that ONet Online can give you some information about. And finally, job outlook and growth projections. When you're trying to find a job, it's really important to know, after I graduate, are there going to be jobs available for me? And that's going to give you some information on the amount of job positions that are going to be opening up over the next 10 to 20 years when you can be expecting to graduate and entering the workforce. So when you're using ONet Online, there's two great areas I want to point out to you that you might be interested in using. The first is going to be the orange circle up top in the right corner, the occupation quick search. So if you want to look for a specific occupation, you can type the name of that occupation into that search bar, and it'll pull up all sorts of different information, and you can find the specific occupation you're looking for. If you really just need a little bit more help exploring your options, exploring what you're interested in, My Next Move is another great tool you can use, the red circle here. So this will be asking you some questions. You might have done career exploration, things like this before. It'll ask you some questions and you can go through, see the different options available in the chosen fields. And then from there, you can actually save different occupations to your profile so you can come back and look at them at a later date. Another really good tool that you might be interested in using is called Occupational Outlook Handbook. Very similar to ONet, it's going to have all that important information you want to know about a job you might be interested in getting. So that includes your projected growth, again, how many jobs are going to be available over the next 10 years, the average annual wages throughout the United States, and the typical education requirements. What's great about this website is it's maintained by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So you know this information is accurate. You're not having to search all sorts of different websites, BuzzFeed, Forbes, or anything like that to find out what kind of information and their sources. This is coming directly from the US Bureau of Labor Statistics. So there's three great areas you might be interested in checking out here. The first is going to be, again, the occupation finder. So if you know a specific area or career that you're interested in getting into, you might want to search that occupation finder to look at more information about that specific occupation. If you are just trying to look for another specific career or a specific area, you can type it into the search bar here where the purple circle is, and it will pull up all sorts of different information under that area. So if you were to type in mathematics, it would give you lots of different careers related to mathematics. And finally, occupation groups. So you can find one that's most closely related to mathematics, and it'll pull up all the information underneath that particular group. So now I'd like to hand it over to Professor Navas. He's going to take us through a couple of different websites that you might be interested in exploring as you're looking for careers.
Yeah, thank you, Katie. So as Katie was mentioning about the job search websites, it's really, really, really important to do that, especially if you're looking for a job outside of academics. So I just wanted to share a little bit about my story and then just kind of walk us through how I do a job search online using a resource such as ONet And I also have a few more resources that I normally don't do in other workshops with other disciplines, because math is sort of like my forte. So I really know what I'm doing here, at least to the extent that I'm currently a professor at a community college. So you can call that a success story. So a little bit about me. I went to high school in Valley View in Moreno Valley, actually. Graduated in 2004. And I took a few concurrent enrollment classes. Actually took a class with Professor Johnson at Moreno Valley College, pre-calculus and stats. I knew I wanted to do something mathematical. I wanted to solve some interesting problems. I wanted to keep my mind really, really active. And then I got into UCR, bachelor's in applied math and chemistry from there, in 2008, master's in 2010 in pure mathematics, graduate school, and then PhD 2015 at UCR doing research in fluid dynamics, Navier-Stokes equations, a lot of fun stuff, a lot of pure theoretical, really, really intensive research mathematics. The thing is that wasn't actually my goal at first. My goal was actually to be an applied mathematician. So I didn't want to get into academics. I thought research might be interesting, and it is. It's just you have to really, really have a passion for it. You have to breathe, eat, and drink research, mathematics research, if you really want to become a researcher. It's a very, very rich, but it's a field that you have to be extremely committed to. So if you already know you're on that path, then I can sort of say, I can point you towards jobs that will help you with that. But suppose you still want to get a math degree, but you don't want to teach, okay? So I do have good resources for if you want to become a teacher at K-12, if you want to become a teacher at a 2-year college like a community college, or if you want to become a teacher at a 4-year either research institution like UCR or any of the UCs, or any like University of Chicago, Stanford, wherever that is, I think they call it R1 research institutions. Then there's also liberal arts colleges, also 4-year. So I think an example, I think Cal Poly, if I'm going to count, is that other Cal States as well, Cal State San Bernardino, and maybe like University of La Sierra, Cal Baptist University, those are some great local liberal arts colleges. Also 4-year, you can get a bachelor's degree. So I can walk us through that, but what if you don't want to do that, right? What if you want to get a degree in math and you want to work in some kind of industry, some kind of private industry, or even for the government, right? You might want to go into some different governmental positions, say NSA or FBI. You totally could, but there's a catch, okay? So as a math major, your degree is very, very specialized in just pure academic research level mathematics. And the thing is that you have to self-specialize. You have to learn about the different positions that are out there, and you have to learn what their job titles are, because they're not always asking for, we need a mathematician. You won't see that all the time. So that's the catch. So let's see an example of what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here and walk us through what it looks like when you're actually using these resources. Again, these are really, really great resources. I'm going to make my screen a little bit bigger. Let's see if I can just drag that around. Here we go. Okay. And so I'm on ONet doing kind of like a general job search, because it's just a really important thing to do no matter what, especially if you're interested in careers outside of teaching the subject that you're getting your major in. All right, so let's go ahead and the way I would use it. So Katie mentioned the find your career at my next move. That's if you're still searching. But if you're a math major or you're undeclared math, you have an idea that you want to do something mathematical. So or maybe you went through this and they suggested mathematician or actuary or different things that require mathematics degrees. So in my case, I would go to something like, say, okay, I know I want to do something math related, and I want to learn about what kind of jobs are out there. I want to learn what kind of skills I need to specialize in outside of just math coursework, which is like a lot of proof-based. It's really interesting. It's just not always the most hireable, put it that way, to put it lightly. So I'll go on occupations, all occupations. Oh wait, was that the one that I wanted to do? I think it was find occupations, and let me see. I think I did it by industry. There we go. And so if I'm browsing by industry, you can select different ones and see if there's math showing up. The easiest one to find, step 4, and the one that I found it the quickest, was professional, scientific, and technical services. I've been doing this for all the STEM presentations for all the different ones, because this is STEM, but of course there's many different industries that require STEM skills, no doubt. And I was just scrolling through and I found this little group here: data scientists and mathematical science occupations, and all other. So bioinformatics technicians, you need to specialize in biology. Clinical data managers, you need to know a little bit about business. Oh, wait, clinical data. I believe that would be for hospitals. I'm not actually positive about that. Business intelligence analyst, that's definitely like a statistician who who can work with databases and works at companies. Business intelligence is these days getting supplemented, or I should say supplanted or replaced by data scientists. Data scientists are kind of the new business intelligence folks. Data scientists and business intelligence folks get a lot of work. They're very, very hireable. They work alongside like product managers, MBAs, managing like businesses and things like that. Very, very hireable skills in here. Very hot right now, I should also say, as well as, so all of these are, the first two and the last one are especially, growing fields. So let's just go to mathematical sciences and see what we can find. If I were to go to, let's see, if I were to go to my zip code, say 92521, that's the UCR zip code. No certifications were found. Let me see, let's look at the details here. Yeah, this one is coming up a little bit short. So I know that if I click on any of the others, like if I click on data scientists, this is what it should look like. They'll tell you about job training, and what I'm really looking for are some links that would take us out. So if we look at some of the details here, then I would be looking for certifications nationwide. Usually there's some links down here about where to go to find actual positions with that. So I'm having a little bit of a hard time just searching through this. And this is something that you might encounter, right? You're looking for jobs and it's like, well, where's the information that I want here? Let me see here. I mean, if I were to click on another one, let's see, if we look at, oops, not that one. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. I'm kind of surprised that I'm not seeing what I normally come across. So we can certainly
I'm
look
wondering,
at,
do you normally use the Occupational Outlook Handbook, or was it ONet? I can't remember.
it was ONet, yeah. Yeah. I'm just surprised that it's like if I did this, because when we did this last time, say biochemists and biophysicists, unless they changed the website up on this. Here we go. Yeah, skills, knowledge, education, abilities, interests, work styles, a lot of different information here. And the thing that I wanted to hone in on was an external resource that kind of took us, I believe it takes us to the Occupational Handbook. I mean, I could go straight there, but at least they give us some idea about what they want, right? Related job experience, extensive skill, knowledge, and experience. That's kind of general though. Knowledge, education. Yeah, I'm actually having a hard time finding it. I want to find a job description just so that we can see what it is that they're looking for in something that is not just something that isn't just like research mathematician, right? And that's, yeah, I'm kind of surprised that I'm not seeing it, especially for data scientists. Like I'm surprised that that data scientist doesn't have something a little bit more specific. Let me see, zip code. Wait, maybe I could just select my state. Let's try that. Full details, United States, wage data. Yeah, it's kind of limited here. I'm surprised. But I mean, it's still good though, because you can at least get an idea of the pay, but you want to know about what are the like requirements. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why. I mean, I suppose I can just type mathematician here. Oh, mathematical sciences, but I kind of worry that it's going to take us to the same thing. Yeah, same exact thing. Professional, yeah, it tells us the industries, but it's not really giving me much more information than that. So maybe we can find certification. No certifications found. Yeah, so this is yeah, bioinformatics statisticians. Yeah, this one is a little bit more like it. And yeah, the thing, yeah, I still can't really find, they do give us a few websites. So maybe I can go to that first. So I'm assuming, so Society of Clinical Research Associates. A similar one for mathematicians would be, say, the Society for Industrial and Applied Mathematics. And they actually have listings of careers. I just want to get one job description so I can kind of go off on that. So careers in the math sciences. And I mean, it's a huge list of things, but still not the job description that I'm looking for. Okay, so maybe I'll come back around to that once I find it. So now let's go to education, right? So once I get something more like an applied industrial mathematician, then I'll go through that. So if you're committed to any of the education like fields, like say 2-year colleges, or if you're interested for 4-year colleges, say you want to teach at a California community college, like Moreno Valley College, Riverside Community College, Norco College, any of the other, I think there's like 114 of us if you include the online one as well. The CCC Registry has everything that you need more or less. a lot of times they'll post job descriptions and hiring like advertising for positions that need to be filled here. So if we were to go to, say, the college directory and say, I want to work at the College of the Canyons out in, I think it's Santa Clarita, then, oh, this actually takes us straight to the website. So say jobs at College of the Canyons, and I'm looking for, say, full-time or part-time faculty. Let's see, they even tell you to go to the registry. So what I'm surprised at is, oh yeah, here we go. Search for a job. Let's search by region. And in this case, I would go by, say, Southern California. And I mean, yeah, let's see if College of the Canyons is hiring. Oh, I'm not actually sure what their district is. So let's see if we can find jobs within the last 30 days. And let's just search that. So then, yeah, well, I'm going to look for faculty, right? So you want to be you want to teach at something like this. Then I would hope that I could find, so I should probably type in math, actually, right? Let's look at that keyword. So here we go, assistant professor in mathematics, Riverside Community. Oh, hey, we're hiring. Cool. I believe this one is for Norco. And they would actually tell you to, so basically what you need here. This is what I was looking for in the other thing. What kind of degree that they're looking for. And then also what kind of extra skills that they want. So they would want peer leadership in student learning outcomes assessment. You'd have to know what that is. You'd have to do your homework, basically. Innovative, culturally responsive pedagogy. So something I'll say about education is that you need to engage in professional learning at some point. And this is something that any good education program would train you in. And if you're trying to get a master's or a PhD, they're going to be grilling you in hard research math. And you would have to, if you want to get an education, you want to become attractive to the job market, you would have to get into education like pedagogy and whatever PhDs in education actually do. So this is an example of that, and they'll host workshops, and you would just want to be a part of that. So try to get yourself a part-time position, and then you'd want to look at the full-time requirements and try to get involved. You want to network with fellow faculty, part-time and full-time, and just see what they're looking for. And then just participate in those workshops. It's called professional learning, and it's a really great opportunity. Now, say you wanted to get into like an R1 institution that does research, mathjobs.org is a really great resource for that. And they'll have job postings all over the place. And if you wanted to get in other institutions that are not registered with mathjobs.org, then Higher Ed Jobs is another great resource as well. A lot more broad, just something I wanted to point out. So Katie, if you want to carry on the presentation, I think I took a little bit too much time. If I find something, I'll let everybody know. By then I'll find a job description and put it into perspective exactly what I'm talking about here. Just the overall moral of the story is you can't just rely on getting your degree to make yourself employable outside and even inside of academics. You have to do your homework. You have to do your research about where you want to go and what skills you need.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Professor Navas. So what kind of career paths are out there for mathematics majors? Professor Navas did a great job of introducing some of the options, but there are a lot of different options you might not have considered. So the first one we're going to look at is mathematics and computational science. When you're thinking about a degree in math, you're probably thinking this route traditionally, and there are a lot more options available to you than you might have considered. So of course you have research like Professor Navas was talking about. You can work at a four-year university, but there are also things like modeling and simulation. So trying to make predictions on large bodies of data. That's what that's going to follow. Statistics and probability, engineering analysis, operations research. So that's just a little bit like, how does a business work? What kind of things are going on throughout the world? There's so many different avenues you can take with these types of careers. Then you have accounting and finance, which is kind of a different route that you can take, but it's also very number-based. Computer programming, engineering, and optimization. All of these require a lot of those logical skills you're going to gain as you're getting your mathematics degree. So that's one area. Another area is computers. Many of you may have already taken classes that overlap with computer science. So you know that math and computer science are becoming very conjoined these days. So it might be computers or something that you're interested in getting into, and you can utilize the skills you're learning with your math degree, maybe double major in computer science or grab a minor here or there to pursue some of these jobs here. So you have programming, your software and system development, network administration, systems analysis, web administration, so helping run websites, making sure that things are running properly, technical support and training, and then data science is one that is actually really up and coming, utilizing your computer skills to do all sorts of analyses with large sets of data. Next, you have education, as Professor Navas talked about. Of course, if you get a degree in mathematics, you might consider teaching math to other students like yourselves. So of course, we have K-12, community college, and four-year university and above. And each of these are going to have different requirements. So make sure if you're choosing to go down one of these paths, that you do some of that research that Professor Navas was talking about, so you can understand the requirements that you're going to need before pursuing this path. And then you have research and administration, which are just jobs within the education field that you might be interested in looking at. Next, insurance. Insurance actually has a really big, broad amount of mathematical jobs that they are looking for people to pursue, because a lot of what insurance does is calculating risks and doing statistics on the probabilities of what types of accidents can occur and whatnot. So actuarial science is a really big one. So helping decide what the probability of certain risks are and helping insurance companies decide how they're going to insure someone and for how much. Then you have things like risk management and loss management. So these are things that you would do for a company and helping calculate their data to decide how much can they manage to lose without hurting their bottom line. And then you have things like underwriting. This is going to be attached to banking and loans, which takes me into my next field, banking and finance. So some of these things I want to remind you, you might need to consider pursuing multiple degrees or taking classes, not just in mathematics, but in other areas to help you become more prepared for jobs in these fields. And banking and finance is going to be one of those where you might want to have a more financial background with your math. So there are all sorts of different routes you can take with this. Lots of jobs in the banking industry, whether you decide to go the corporate or consumer route. There's credit analysis, lending, so helping decide how much someone can get a loan for. Trust management, so that's going to be helping. Trust and asset management are going to be doing things like financial planning and whatnot, working with people to make sure they're making as much money as they can. Then you have mortgage loans, helping people get housing loans, credit scoring, private banking, financial analysis, so working with private companies on their finances, and investment banking. So that if you're interested in stocks in Wall Street, that's what investment banking kind of goes down the route of. And finally, you have business. You can help with a business buying, purchasing things, whether this be real estate, it could be product, it could be working with people. And then you also have sales. Lots of different routes utilize salespeople, and having a mathematical background for those kinds of careers is really important in making sure you have those logical skills and knowledge that you need in order to be successful in these areas. All right, so let's take a closer look at some careers that you might not have considered. And the first one we're going to look at is data science. This is a really great up and coming field that you might be interested in looking into. Like I mentioned, this is a lot of overlap between mathematics and computer science. So if you're someone who really loves math, is pursuing a math degree, but is also enjoying things from computer science, this might be a really great route for you. So the specific job description, this is more of a generalized one. You might pursue data science in a specific field, but generally what you'll be doing is developing and implementing a set of techniques or analytics applications to transform raw data into meaningful information using data-oriented programming languages and visualization software. You'll apply data mining, modeling, natural language processing, and machine learning to extract and analyze information from large structured and unstructured data sets. You'll then visualize, interpret, and report data findings, where you might create dynamic data reports. So this is something that will probably require an advanced degree. So after you complete your bachelor's degree, you would then pursue either a master's or doctorate in this area. So you might get a mathematics degree and then pursue a more data science focused advanced degree, or there are a lot of different paths depending on the specific type of data science you might be interested in getting into. The typical work environment for this is going to be mostly indoor office settings, with the average salary being about $98,000. So there is a very wide range salary for this, which is why I didn't include it. Data science is really up and coming. They don't have a ton of data about data science jobs, which is why I don't have a specific California average salary, but I've seen it as high as 170,000. So it could continue to grow and you'll see some fluctuation in those areas. The job outlook is very high. It's growing much faster than average than most jobs. So they're expecting to add at least 25% more jobs in this area over the next 10 years. So who hires data scientists? All sorts of companies do, but some basic ones you might consider are finance companies, IT companies, healthcare, retail, media, so working for big media conglomerates who need to process lots of data, and government companies. Some specific job descriptions I saw included something like marketing data science. So if you're interested in finding out more about marketing background, who is looking at those commercials, who is buying our products, that's a specific area you might be interested in going into. Investment data science, there's all sorts of different realms that niches that you can get into with this career. The next one we're going to look at is an actuary. So an actuary works with an insurance company primarily to help analyze statistical data such as mortality, accident, sickness, disability, and retirement rates, so they can construct probability tables to forecast risk and liability for payment of future benefits. So they may ascertain insurance rates required and cash reserves necessary to ensure payment of future benefits. So when you are trying to go and get life insurance, you're probably your data will go through an actuary at some point where they will analyze your health to decide how likely are you to need the life insurance that you are purchasing from us. This is what an actuary does. They're working with lots of different information. Some of it is going to be for companies on their backgrounds. Some of it are going to be on particular people. For this, you can actually just need a bachelor's degree. You can get it in mathematics, or there are some other areas that you might be interested in. If you're interested in this path, we always recommend checking out some job descriptions and see what they're looking for. The average salary throughout the United States is almost 106,000, with 116,000 here in California. As always, there are going to be some higher salaries and some lower salaries. That's the average. But the job outlook for this continues to be high. Lots of people use insurance, so lots of people need someone to help them calculate the risk of using insurance. So actuaries are primarily hired by insurance companies. So I think I saw like at least 40% of actuaries are hired through insurance companies. And then the rest are primarily through technical and scientific consulting companies. So those are the major people hiring actuaries, but there are of course other companies that hire them less often. Next, we have biostatisticians. What I've loved about this job is it's something that we've continued to present throughout the different presentations, because it really is one that overlaps in many different disciplines. So biostatisticians use the tools of statistics and help answer pressing research questions in medicine, biology, and public health, such as whether a new drug works, what causes cancers and other diseases, and how long a person with a certain illness is likely to survive. So you have to have a good background in biology, but you also have to have a very solid background in mathematics, specifically in statistics. The degree required for this is going to be a master's degree or higher. So again, after you finish your bachelor's degree, you'll probably want to pursue a degree that combines biology and statistics. They do have specific biostat degrees available if you're interested in looking into that. The typical work environment for this is going to be in a clinical setting. So if you're thinking of a medical lab, typically you might work in this area. You'll again be overlapping those things where you might have time where you're doing some experiments, biology related, and then you're on the computer analyzing the statistics of those experiments. The average salary of this job is going to be $92,000 with $108,000 here in California. This is another job where the outlook is excellent, continuing to grow much faster than average. And the people who hire biostatisticians are lots of different government agencies, from the local to the federal levels, private corporations. So if you're thinking like biotech companies, great place for a biostatistician to work, academic institutions, hospitals, and research foundations. Just got two more to go here. So another job you might consider if you're interested in taking a different route is financial analyst. So a financial analyst is going to be someone who conducts quantitative analyses of information affecting investment programs of public or private institutions. So this is where you would need a bachelor's degree, but you might likely double major or be finance focused, as they are looking for someone who is a little more finance background. But as we all know, finance is numbers and numbers is a lot of math. So this is something where your typical work environment is going to be mostly indoor and office. You'll find yourself in lots of meetings, maybe taking client meetings, talking to CEOs, whatnot, lots of indoor action. Your average salary is going to be about 81,000 for this job, 101,000 in California. This job is growing average, so it's not going to be adding a significant amount of jobs over the next 10 years, but it's something that every company needs, every government agency needs someone to help analyze their financials and protect their investments. So this is something where if you're interested in pursuing this route, there will likely be jobs available for you. Who hires financial analysts? Going to be lots of private companies and businesses, government, insurance carriers. Again, lots of numbers behind insurance. So that's something you might be interested in looking into. Scientific consultant companies and brokerage companies, so working in the stock market. Finally, we have a survey researcher. So a lot of times you guys might have gotten emails. I know the library just sent out an email recently about completing a survey. I don't know if you know, but a lot of work and research has to go into creating these surveys so they can be effective and they collect the correct kind of information that someone is looking for. That's where survey researchers come into play. They plan, develop, or conduct surveys. They might analyze and interpret the meaning of the data, determine survey objectives, or suggest or test question wording. So this might include a social scientist who primarily designs questionnaires or supervises survey teams. This degree or this job will require a post-baccalaureate graduate degree. Math is a great background for survey, as lots of statistics and other analyses go into surveys, but you might find yourself also doing some psychological background as well. Typical work environment is going to be mostly indoors or office, unless you are someone who is conducting surveys, which you might find yourself traveling. And then average salary is going to be about 60,000 throughout the United States, with 68,000 here in California. The job outlook for this job is low. That does not mean there aren't jobs available. It just is not growing at an exponential rate. So there might be less jobs available for you to apply for. And who hires survey researchers? This is primarily hired by scientific research and development companies. Colleges and universities tend to use survey researchers both in the academic research that they're doing and in the research they do on their students. Business, labor, and political organizations. So if you think about someone who is trying to run for office, they of course want to know, am I doing what the people I am trying to represent would like me to do? Lots of surveys that go into political organizations, and then private companies and government organizations. All right, so lots of information, some different jobs you might not have considered. And now you're thinking, well, how do I get started on this? I'm not quite sure on my career, but I want to start building myself and preparing myself for what post-college life might look like. Here are some things that we recommend you do to start preparing yourself for your path after graduation. The first is going to be to use LinkedIn to build your presence and begin networking. Then you can consider joining some professional organizations in mathematics where you can do some networking, participate in training, and there are lots of career resources available for you. Building your extracurriculars is always a good option to help build your resume and also do some networking. And finally, workshops and training. So when it comes to LinkedIn, it's important that you know that networking can actually really increase your odds of completing a job search and attaining a job. So it's something like you are 80% more likely to get a job if you have networked with somebody who is at that company. So just getting that opportunity, being able to see that job opening is available, and then getting some insight into the company that you're interested in can really help you in this job search and attainment portion of your life. So it's important to network. You can utilize LinkedIn so you can get some exclusive insight to companies. Lots of people are using LinkedIn now to actually apply for jobs. So if that's something that you are thinking of doing in the near future, it's really good to build your resume now on LinkedIn. So by the time you're ready to apply, it's all set to go. You can also build your brand. So you can talk about what you're interested in doing, what you're passionate about. It's a little bit bigger than a one-page resume. So you're able to get a little more in depth of who you are and what you're passionate about. And then expand your horizons. You might not have considered any of the 5 job paths that I just previously mentioned. And building your network on LinkedIn, connecting with other mathematics majors around the world can help you see what kind of jobs are available for a mathematics major. And then why LinkedIn specifically? You can build connections on many different levels, and that includes MVC alums. So there's a really great feature on LinkedIn where you can navigate to the Moreno Valley College page, click on the alumni tab, and then from there you can search by all sorts of different filters, and that includes by major. So if you're interested in finding other MVC alums who are with mathematics majors and figuring out what are they doing now, trying to network them and get just a little boost in your own career search, this is a great and easy way to do it. You can also explore companies, try to find out what are they about, get a little more insight on the kind of articles that are posting, kind of people that work for them, just to get a sense of if it's a great opportunity for you. And there are some people who mentioned that LinkedIn might be the new CV. So like I mentioned, you can't fit everything onto a one-page resume, and that's what most jobs expect from you. But with LinkedIn, you're able to keep track of all the jobs that you've ever participated in, from tutoring here to working at this restaurant and beyond. You have the ability to showcase all the different skills that you've gained from the many different jobs you've had a part of. And then you can also include your passions, you can post articles, you can share words of advice, lots of great benefits to building your LinkedIn profile. Next, we have professional organizations. There's some really great mathematical professional organizations, and I know Professor Navas is going to talk a little bit about them, but I'm just going to mention them really quick. We have the American Mathematical Society. This is going to be a big, large, general mathematical professional organization. The Association for Women in Mathematics, which is going to be women-centered. If you're interested in pursuing teaching, the National Council for Teachers in Mathematics might be something you're interested in checking out. Society for Industrial and Applied Mathematics, that's something Professor Navas spoke about. They have lots of different career resources available for you, and it's free for undergraduates to join. And then the Society of Actuary. So if you're interested in learning more about becoming an actuary, you can go to this professional organization to see more about them. Any of these organizations, many of them host workshops, they host conferences, they have newsletters that are sent out, they have job boards available to you. So if you join them, you get a little more insight to what kind of careers might be available to you. Professor Navas, did you want to get into Scion and show a little bit of how you can join?
Yeah, for sure. So I'll go ahead and share right now. Well, I want to actually open the Scion website here, and then I'll get the share screen going. And also I had a few comments about, and it's also like a broad thing. It's like the math, your path as a math major does not end when you get a bachelor's. There's going to be some kind of post baccalaureate training that you're going to need to do, whether that's graduate school in math, applied or pure, whether it's internship programs, and I'll talk a little bit about that as well. So let me see, Scion.org. Okay, I think I'm ready now. Make that big. All right, so I just went to Scion.org, so Society for Industrial and Applied Mathematics. So this is their homepage right now. This is actually something that I saw when I was an undergraduate, actually deciding on if I wanted to become a math major when I was undeclared math when I first started out. So the nice thing, so it's a lot of information, publications, research areas, there's math research, right? Conferences, careers, so students in education, so what different kinds of programs, resources, and student chapters. So these are things that let's look at the undergraduate students. So just some of the different things that you can utilize for getting started on this. But what's nice is that it's actually free for undergraduate students to become a member. And becoming a member, you get access to all their different, many different publications. So journals, books, news, reports, things that you normally couldn't get otherwise. So careers and internships, let me see, because I don't think I'm registered here. So I can certainly search for internships, but I'm not really sure if I'd be able to apply for them unless I was actually a member. So I just wanted to point this out. If you want to become a member and learn a little bit more about what you can do with the math degree, you would want to click on the student tab here, and it's free for undergraduate students. And then they tell you all the different things that you get. So I guess it's not free for the e-journals, but it would be 95% off. It's still kind of pricey if you were to try to do that. Registrations, I'm assuming they're talking about conference registrations. and eligible for committee appointments. Interesting, whatever that means. What would be a committee that they would want undergraduate students on? Pretty interesting things here, but it's free to join, and there's a lot of resources you can do. But the overall thing that I'm trying to get here is that it's really, really important, like Katie was mentioning with the LinkedIn, when it comes to networking with fellow math majors. Where's the, so it's this here, and presentation mode is, sorry, I'm not.
Oh, sorry, up top, click present. Yeah, there you go.
Up top, which is present, which would be, thank you. There we go. So it doesn't look good. Oh wow, where am I?
There you go.
Yeah, so it looks like it sent me to yeah, okay, so back at this slide. So yeah, when it comes to LinkedIn, it's really, really important just to network with fellow math majors, and also with folks who are in the industry, so that they can sort of guide you on the path. Like when Katie was talking about actuaries, the process for becoming an actuary is very, I wouldn't say streamlined, but it's very formalized. Basically, you get your degree in any math related field. It could be physics, it could be statistics, it could be pure math, applied math, whatever it is. And then you take a bunch of tests. That's all it is. The requirement is you have your bachelor's, then you have to basically study and take the tests. Like the first 3 are very mathematical, then they start getting more financial and more insurance based. And that's the whole process. But the problem is that it takes many, many hours to pass each test. And then you also need to apply as an intern or get a certain kind of actuarial position to get trained and to pass the other tests after that. And that's something you would only know if you went to either the Society of Actuaries and informed yourself, or if you talked to somebody who's already in that field. For data science, there are meetups, a lot of data science meetups, Orange County, Los Angeles County, even Riverside County. And you want to go and talk to other students who are trying to become data scientists, and they'll oftentimes have speakers who talk about getting into the field, and different kinds of internship programs and boot camps that you can be a part of. But the point is that you have your degree, whether it's advanced, whether you have your master's or PhD or just your bachelor's, and are trying to learn where you need to go. You want to attend the meetup so you can start getting to know others who are in the field or others who are pursuing that. And then everybody kind of has this common community knowledge of sort of what you should be doing. Because it's like, if you're on a path as a math major, so many things are decided for you. Your counselors help you map out your path, and you just like follow that path. Once you get your degree, you don't have that anymore. And you're kind of, it's like self-guiding. And so by attending meetups, basically you get to build your own path. You get to learn how to kind of navigate yourself around these things. That's why it's so important to do that. And then you're like, you don't feel so lost anymore. And you're like, okay, I can do this. And it's a good thing. Otherwise, the path that gets set out for you in graduate school, research mathematician or K-12 or 2-year college teacher, which isn't a bad path. It's just that, that's what they did. The folks who are mentoring you, they went that path and they did that. I mean, you could go to, like a school where they offer a data science program, which would be great. But if you don't, then, just expect that that's what's set out for you. Not that you have to follow it, but that's what it is. So if you want to find something different, then you have to go and find those who can help. It's important to find a mentor as well. So I think you mentioned quantitative analysts, same idea. You'd want to talk to mathematicians who have gone that route. If you want to do biostatistics, same idea, right? It doesn't stop at the bachelor's. That's just the point I wanted to make. So I'll go ahead and hand it over to you, Katie.
Yes, thank you. And I think it is just so important to see what options are out there. I was going to show, I just did a really quick search on LinkedIn using that process I talked about. So I go to Moreno Valley College, I click on alumni, I typed in mathematics, and here's what pulled up: 198 people or 193 alums from Moreno Valley College who completed mathematics here at MVC and moved on elsewhere. So you can kind of get a sense of what are other people doing. They're project engineers, they're working for 3M Industries, they're founding companies, working in AutoCAD, all sorts of great things that people with math degrees are doing. And you just want to see that those options are out there. So I'm going to switch back over to the presentation. We'll finish up here. Thank you so much for your insight, Professor Navas. I know you went through that challenge, so.
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about some resources that you might be interested in checking out if you're hoping to find out more about getting a degree with or getting a job with your degree in mathematics. So the first, I'm just trying to move my window here, is the Mathematical Association of America. They have lots of free career path information, webinars, job searching available that you can use. This is actually another professional organization that you can check into joining as a student. It's either free or very cheap to join lots of different professional organizations. So take advantage while you can of getting that free perk. Next, we have the Society for Industrial and Applied Mathematics, which we've talked about a lot. They have some really great postings for jobs and internships, career tips, and career fairs available for you. I'm not sure if they're virtual or in person. I wasn't able to find out information about this year's career fair, but they have great information, contacts, and networking that you can do with other people who have or are completing their degree in mathematics, and different jobs that you can look through and kind of get a better sense of what kind of job would be available if I were to complete my degree in mathematics. I really love CA Career Zone because this is California specific career information. So you can go in there, you can type in mathematics, or you can type in a specific job that you're looking at, perhaps actuary, to find out what kind of information is available for California specifically if you're interested in staying in California. I also like that it kind of lists out the different programs, for your university programs available for that job that you might be interested in pursuing. So if you're not quite sure, you'd say, I'm thinking about this job, what kind of programs are available after I finish your MVC? It could give you a sense of that. ONet is always a great resource that we recommend people check out. I really love the My Next Move, where you can kind of map out your plan, get an idea of what you're really passionate about or interested in. And then we have two great resources here on campus. We have the MVC Career Center, where you can use Navas to do career exploration tests, and we'll talk with a counselor about your results. There are workshops and counseling available if you're interested in just getting more information about how do I figure out what to do with this degree in mathematics. You can also talk to Professor Navas. He is our faculty liaison for our STEM Center, and he would be happy to sit down with you, I'm sure, and talk about your options. And finally, our STEM Center Canvas page. It's continuing to grow. We're adding lots of resources, previous event information if you're interested in seeing some of the events that we have put on before, and important contact information, including our information, to learn more about how you can explore careers with degree in mathematics. And that brings us to the end. I've listed here our social media contact information, as well as the link to our Canvas page. It is case sensitive, so make sure to use that, as well as our personal email addresses for here at MVC if you'd like to contact us for more questions or information. Thank you so much for joining and watching and listening in, and please let us know if you have any questions.